You're recording now?
Yes.
Okay. So we say welcome to everyone from a lot of countries. We had 80 persons who said they will participate. So we hope we will have 80 persons participating. And we have a lot of lecturers that will tell about how you deal with children in Corona time in your respective countries. And you only have 10 minutes each, and hereby I will be very thorough telling you now your minutes are ended, so we can do this meeting in 2 hours, and we have 8 lectures, and then we have some time for questions and discussion in the end. So we ask Magdalina to start, Magdalina Rajeva, who is working with architecture and children in Bulgaria. Are you ready to share the screen and do your presentation? And you have 10 minutes, and now it's 5 minutes past 2.
The hour, yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
We can.
And we ask everyone to put off the microphone so we don't disturb Magdalena, of course.
Okay. So hi, I'm really happy to have the opportunity to participate in this meeting and discuss the issues we are all facing in these times of Corona pandemic. For me, it's really inspiring to learn how other organizations are dealing with now. I just want very quickly to start with because I see that there are many people who I don't know in the group now. I want just very quickly to explain what is our organization. It's a non-profit organization which was founded in 2011. The name is Children Architecture Workshop. And during the years, we, in a team with architects and architecture students, we are carrying out an interdisciplinary program, which is mainly focused on the importance of communicating architecture to children. So we believe that by building young people's personal relationship with the city where they live from a childhood age, turns them into responsible adults. These are our main topics of our interdisciplinary program. We want to stimulate the development of more broad-minded and progressive education system, which is related to society and to everyday life of the children. And in normal times, without coronavirus, our organization conducts various types of events, and some of them are programs in schools, after school, architecture clubs. We work with museums, participate in different cultural events. We conduct city walks, summer camps, exhibitions, and so on. But now we need to think about new opportunities to continue our work. On the one hand, the situation with the coronavirus showed us how little prepared we are to react in such a situation. But also gave us motivation to start digitizing a large part of our exercises in a very short time. We realized that in this way we will be able to reach to reach more people and more teachers and students who live in different parts of Bulgaria and do not have access to many of the activities in the big cities. I will start with schools because this is one of the biggest challenges for us, how to continue working with schools. In the spring of this year, we had to move very quickly to online education, and to a large extent, the schools were not prepared for that. The children themselves spent more than half of their day online, and after that they have to do their homeworks. So we tried with online courses, online clubs in March and April. And our idea was to children to work with materials they have at home, more simple materials, to use their apartment as a background of their creations. But however, we noticed that the children were very tired, and spending another hour in front of the computer was really difficult for them. For me also, it was very difficult to have this online, to show them how to work, what to do, and at the same time not to be able to see exactly. We were connected, but I didn't feel it that we were connected, really connected, in fact. This isolation was for me a little bit difficult. So finally, we stopped for the summer and used summer to create, to start creating to start digitizing our workshop, our lessons, our workshops. So this photo with the packages I made just this morning, because as I told you at the beginning, from today we are again online, and the schools stopped. This is the last day in school. So today we gave the children their boxes with materials, because many of them, they enjoy really to work with us and to use not just paper and pencils, but to have more interesting materials like concrete, like clay and wood. So we prepared for one month. We prepared the lessons. We gave them these materials. We prepared some instructions, some papers with the instructions of the lessons. So the idea is not to have live online workshops. The children, they will be able to create their lessons, to create their tasks when they want, when they are free. And after that, to have online sessions just to discuss and to show what they created, something like this. We will see now how it will work. I hope it will be okay. I want to show you one of our other projects. It's Mobile Schools to Lipinovu. It's a school which we did outside in the neighborhood. So we continue, the restrictions allowed us to do this during the pandemic. And in fact, with working in this community, the problem is that the children there, they don't have access to internet, they don't have computers. So in fact, from March up to August, we didn't have any connections with them. But after that, we started again. And I don't know, I hope we will find a way to continue. Now we found some organizations who gave us tablets, provide with internet and with internet cards inside. So we will try to keep in touch with students. Other possibility, we started last year, but we developed during the summer. We have more time and possibility to create some more books. Are these 10 architecture puzzles for kids? They are this project. They are small books, architecture books for children, and the idea is by performing various tasks and receiving different information about the city. The children receive knowledge about the cultural heritage, the relationship between human activity and the sustainable development of our city, space, shape, colors, different tasks. We focused on working with children, but outside. The idea is that we are still connected, but not with these clubs which are in the closed space. So these are some of the books we did last year. This one is for Bauhaus. It's for Sofia, and this week we finish with this 10 architecture. It's in Cyrillic. You cannot read, but some of you, I think, can. But the idea is this is 10 architecture puzzles for kids, Secession in Sofia. So the next week we are planning. Now we prepared a small video and of the route, and we will try to do this architecture walk with children online. So they will stay at home and see the video of the route, and we'll fill different tasks that they have inside of the book. Other project that now we are finishing, and I hope it will be ready for the next year, are this kind of interactive architectural exhibition. The idea is again to be outside and to have different activities for children. Now we are planning, we are doing the design concept. We have 5 small houses and tables next to each of them, and it's something between exhibition and workshop at the same time. We talk about the city, urban planning for kids, transport systems in the city, what is green city, also making models and structures in one-to-one scale. Again, this traveling exhibition, the idea is to have possibility to reach more children, not only in the big city, because in Bulgaria, this is one of the problems, that most of the activities are concentrated in the big cities, especially in Sofia, which is the capital of the country. So I want to finish with this campaign we did in the spring, when most of the children were feeling not very well and really isolated, and one of the main topics was what we will do when we see again. It is just 1 minute. We receive a lot of drawings and videos from children, and many ideas what they want to do. I hope during the summer they succeeded to find their friends again and to be together. And we will see how it will go. Unfortunately, nobody knows, nobody can do plans now. It's really difficult, and that's why I'm really happy to have now this meeting and to have the possibilities at the end to discuss and to know more how everybody is dealing with children during Corona time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So you stop sharing now. Yes. And we have pictures of everyone. So next on the list, it was really interesting to see what you do in Bulgaria. Next on the list is Carolina. Are you ready, Carolina?
I think so. I pray. Okay.
So you share, and everyone else shut off their microphones so we won't have plings and other sounds disturbing. Hello, Eva.
You see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Can you speak a bit louder, perhaps?
Okay,
Oh, I have more sound. Now I can hear you.
Okay, hi, good morning, greetings from Costa Rica to the world. I'm going to talk about art and creativity versus COVID or coronavirus in Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, as in all the world, The coronavirus arrived, it marked a different year for all of us. Sanitary measures were taken since in March 16th, 2020, where we have to follow some guidelines and stay at home and learn how to wash our hands more often, use gel alcohol, to put a mask and be only with our family bubble, as it is saying in Costa Rica. The school, high school, and university continuing virtual, and you also know. We were surprised because we have never seen our street empty, and you can see in the picture where this highway is normally full of cars. The public parks are empty without children, people, and life. This is a picture that's taken by a friend, Giancarlo Pucci, of an important public park called Morazan, from the above. You all knew this park when you came to Costa Rica. Also, the Plaza de la Cultura was empty, where many people usually stop by because below it is the Gold Museum. You hear me? Okay. We can appreciate the toll of highway empty roads that take us to the beautiful beaches also. The streets are lonely, and without anyone, but the saddest thing is to see the beaches closed. We have a schedule to follow from 6 to 8 a.m. in the morning. Unbelievable. With all this, we question ourselves and what we can do. We have to stay at home, working, studying, something in place that are uncomfortable, without backyards and windows or work where vulnerable people can respect social distance because they live in a crowded home. We have to learn how to live in this new normal. We propose to combat this pandemic with carrying out various activities, exchanging experience, and making this confinement more friendly. We bet on art and creativity as a path of communication and interaction. We decide to continue work with and for children. We propose to change our house and transform it into a recording studio with what we have in our house. First, we produced 30 short videos from 5 to 10 minutes with plays, puppets, storytelling, and workshop called The Puppets Also Stayed at Home. Then we continued with the production of 10 more videos from 50 minutes each one, called Playing to Play Theater at Home. Work made with the support of the Culture and Youth Minister, where every space in the house can be used for playing or for presenting short plays to family or friends. Some recordings sent in the terrace, in the little recording studio who make us, in the kitchen, in the dining room. We made 10 episodes: object transformation, costume, scenography, sound, puppets and masks. Here are the links in the case you want to go to play. We make realization of the Architectus virtual workshops. Many children join to the workshop and they propose ideas from changing or making better the city and their house. They send us picture, drawing, and greetings. We made books a different way. We are our friends, Manolo Cat. Also, we build forums and little theater stage with the topic of the city. In this case, the city of the fish. It is why Manolo was so attentive. Also the house workshop. What place do you like the most? What place do you like the most in your house? Some of them like the living room, the bathroom, and dining room. They talk about what they want to make better in our house. More windows, more play space, more backyard. Sophia likes the kitchen. We talk with children of Modern Education Institute in the 50th Architecture International Biennale with the subject Architecture plus Water equal Life. We learn how to save, take care, and reuse the water, especially in rivers and ocean. They propose to put more water in the public space and to defend the right of water from people.
Please wait a minute. Micaela Sanchez, pull off your microphone. You are disturbing the lecture. Thank you. So now you can continue.
Okay, thank you. Then we talk with Latin American children with the subject, The City Does Take Care, in the Forito activity of Lima, Peru municipality, and the project, The City of Children. There were children from Neuquén, Argentina, León, Mexico, and Lima, Peru. They proposed to put bike, ramps, and space for all people. Some children in our countries doesn't have computers, internet, or phones. So to have equality and opportunities to study, the Public Education Minister and Distant State University invite us to release a TV show called Learning and Playing, teaching diverse subjects in a playful and interactive way, math, Spanish, arts, science, and language, etc. This project have for a principal aim, learn in a fun and interactive way. Learn in a fun and interactive way. Worked by Fernando and Juanita, the one with yellow hair, it's me. Also, we made a radio program for the same reason. Not only children were listened, also all people join us. We tell stories, make theater radio, and we have conversation with children about different subjects, in this case, with the coronavirus subject experience in their house. Another important activity was the National Museum Adverture. The objective to bring back people to visit virtuality the museum with a 360 degrees camera. Then we made a puppet show presenting by streaming of craziness and grandparents, everybody has a little bit. Black theater puppet show Tutti Frutti stories. Here can see the reaction of our public and some joyful message. If you remember the first character that I showed you, that is the reason of all this. Yes, I am talking about coronavirus, who is the main character. In our project called Art in the Public Space for the public health, help us to preventing and teaching in the vulnerable neighborhood where are the most coronavirus cases. This project is realized with Culture and Job Minister and Human Settlement and Home Minister. And the last but hot list, our Back to Play project in the public space, where we hopefully take street for ourselves to play, be free and spread love, with the support of diverse municipalities. But we don't have a definite day because we are still confined. Thank you. We save and help us to bring this last project to life. Back to Play. Thank you, Pura Vida.
Thank you so much. What a fantastic lecture. You really do interesting things.
And in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, really.
Oh, thank you.
You did it in perfect time.
Okay.
Next on the list is Turkey. It's Tezcan, who will tell you about the online workshop in pandemic, storytelling and visualization from Turkey. So, you have already started your Thank you. And please, everyone, beware of pulling off your microphone, because it's so disturbing when you move some paper and so on. So please be careful about that, everyone. Thank you. So now the stage is yours, Tezcan.
Hi. Before my presentation, firstly, I want to give some information about pandemic period in Turkey. Immediately after the pandemic was declared on March 11 in the world began to take measures in Turkey. The government, the president and Ministry of Health has been calling to people stay at home during the pandemic. People want to stay at home, but government don't give financial support package. So workers and labor and poor have to work to live in a factory or an office in pandemic. Rotational work has been starting in public workplace from April. Online education has been starting primary school, secondary school, high school, and university. Government didn't tell to people the true number of COVID cases during the pandemic. Turkish Medical Association warned the government and they invited them to explain their true number of COVID-19 cases, but the government still doesn't tell the true. Great majority of people don't believe the government, don't trust to them. And now Turkish Medical Association tells closure to home for people for 14 days. All the people have worry for health and future. In addition, face-to-face activities of professional organizations and associations were also prohibited by the government. Also, children are taking online education day long in weekday, and they can go out limited hours. So we are not studies to children face-to-face about building environment education in the circumstances. Therefore, as the Chamber of Architects of Ankara branch, we organize all our event and meetings, ceremony, congress, workshop on Zoom platform. We do children and architecture studies in two ways during the pandemic. On the one hand, we provide training for children and architecture volunteers. On the other hand, we organize online workshop for children on the Zoom platforms. The online workshop names Storytelling and Visualization. Age groups 3 plus and parents. Time is 1 hour. And where is the workshop in online Zoom platform? First of all, we choose a storybook and determine the necessary materials. And then we prepare a workshop poster and we make an announcement on social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Besides, we also send a mail and mobile message to our members. We share workshop link and we are waiting to register to workshop. We ask the participants of workshop to keep the materials. We determined ready during the workshop. Children must be over 3 years old to participate in the workshop. We also want their parents to participate with the children. Workshop on time, step by step, first introduction, then have a talk, storytelling, visualizations, picture model, and origami, etc. Final, take a family photo. First of all, workshop on time, we are acquainted with children, and we have a talk for 10-15 minutes about school, homework, and daily routine at home. And then we are telling the story. Stories are told in a movingly way by storytellers who are an architects and urbanists. While telling the story, we are laughing and uploading and doing different moves with children and parents. Children get very excited listening to the story. Sometimes we interrupt the storytelling and we ask each of them to dream about story from here. So we provide their children to participate in storytelling and encourage their creative ability. After we finish storytelling, we are starting visualizations with children and parents. In the end of the workshop, we take a family photo together their object. In this context, we held two workshops, Little Prince and Country of Days. And these are posters. These are posters of workshops, Little Prince and Country of Days. And these are list of materials to use, visualizations, paper, a bestang, pen, and glue. These materials can easily be found in every home. And these are workshop photos and origami steps in workshop. And the last workshop, family photo. But we are very sorry if children have a computer and internet, they can participate this workshop. So we cannot reach poor children and immigrant children. Inequalities exposed once again in the pandemic. So we are very, very sorry. And the future, we have planning an online photo workshop for children about room, house, and window. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Tezcan, for
Thank
sticking to the
you.
time. Thank you. And for the wonderful presentation, of course.
It was really, it's inspiring to hear those different ideas, how to work with children during COVID time. Next person on the list is Albert Liang, who will tell us about the Bee Lab, virtual bee in Singapore, experiences in Corona, and how archi and kids bring optimism to children and families.
Okay.
So now, Albert, the stage is yours.
Hi. How many minutes do I have again?
You have 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes. That sounds good. That sounds good. Okay, hi everyone. Okay, hope you guys are good. Over here is in the evening time. We're about to sleep. No, just kidding. Can I just get a show of hand that do you in wherever you guys are, do you find that this is the hardest time to do fundraising?
Fundraising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that it's tough?
Very
Yeah,
hard.
very hard, huh? Yeah, as a social enterprise, I mean fundraising is part of our business. But I mean I don't receive charity, but we sell products, we sell services, we sell educational tickets, you know. But usually we find corporates, we find institutions to support our cause. But in this pandemic, I think primarily the first thing that really hit us is really about the restructuring of the business model and the way to look at how to relocate resources. Because if the end goal is to reach children, right? I'm sure all of us here we are thinking about different ways to ensure that we have enough resources, right? So I'm just going to come to share my perspective today from an angle of a startup that is non-government, non-institution, purely from community resource and from resources that are from parents and from uncle aunties that I know. Okay, so the first thing of in March that happens to Beep Lab is that everything, all the school projects, all cut off. So there's no revenue. There is nothing. But basically, what we can do is we just start off with whatever we could do. The schools that were cut off, we begin to work with children online. Okay, so I'm going to use this publication that I kind of compiled to just illustrate some examples of the online workshop we start to work with, and then eventually towards an architecture festival that we did with Singapore Institute of Architects, and we did fundraising not through corporate but micro to people, to each person. So I'll talk about a bit more about it later in my case studies. Okay, let me just share through this. Okay, y'all can see this. Okay, all right. So this is BEEP. By the way, BEEP stands for Built Environment Experiential Program. Yeah. So okay. So all this while, our work is mainly to work with children. We conduct a lot of this kind of events, outdoor events, or maybe public events for children. Of course, I think this is what most of us we do in a non-pandemic time. But of course, during pandemic, we can't really do this anymore. So we have to kind of re-strategize to find ways to continue to bring experiential program in a digital manner, right? So, but the basic thing I hope to try to do is to bring some of the basic design elements to everybody. Well, let me just stick to this. Okay, so the bring outdoor indoor. So the key idea is I asked myself, how can I bring outdoor indoor when everybody is stuck at home? Okay, so this is something that I asked myself first. Okay, because if not, I can't work with the constraint, right? So I think the key thing is how do I work with the constraints with the basic heart that I still have for the children to build, to draw, to communicate. So it is with such ideal and constraint, I begin to think about I begin to redefine, investigate how I do this in context of Singapore and the Asia's environment, where every parent is extremely scared, extremely phobia in terms of like the children's exposure, right? So I have to develop and experiment my own ways that actually suits the kids in Singapore and in Asia. Okay, so let me go to this page. Okay, wait. Okay, this was all the past projects. Okay, now so to start off, this was one of the very first basic online design project I started to work with the kids. So I asked the children, of course, what do they have at home? Do you have cups? Do you have straw? Do you have paper? So we start with things that they could get hold of in their home, and then we start off talking about what would you like to change your house, to make it more pleasant, so that you can stay at home, enjoying the time with the parents while they work at home. And actually a lot of kids they enjoy a lot with their parents. They find that it's the best time in their life. They've never seen in their lifetime that their parents are at home for such a long time. So in fact, when I ask the children in Singapore, they say this is the best time in their life. Yeah, so it's I don't know, it's a cultural thing, but it is what it is. And yeah, do you guys have the same feeling, or yeah? Yeah, so that's something that I think Asia children find. So a lot of the workshop I try to do is I use very basic thing. I say, oh, do you guys have a mirror? Oh, the children say, yes, I have a mirror. Okay, today maybe we're going to work on the idea of symmetry. So for example, let's draw your favorite building in Singapore. Where's the building? Or maybe somebody say National Gallery. Then maybe I'll use Google Earth. Then I'll take them to do Google Street View, and then they will draw, and then use a mirror. Or sometimes like this kid, he can see that he's doing an action. Then I say, okay, you take a picture of yourself and do a self-portrait and imagine your body into a building, and that's going to be a big gigantic anti-coronavirus robot. So just sometimes just add in some stories, and this kids just enjoy themselves imagining and dreaming with us. Yeah. And let me continue. This one is a very this girl is very interesting. Okay, we want to do a self portrait, so she was trying to say that this is something that you must be aware of. Anything you clean at home, the most important thing you have to clean is the doorknob, because if you didn't clean the doorknob, even you wash your hand, okay, you actually is no use. So it's very interesting. I was asking her what's the most important thing that you should do to clean. You know what? The doorknob. As simple as a doorknob. I don't know if you find that mind blowing. I was like, whoa, mind blown. I say I can wash my hair all day, but if I didn't do that, nah. Then she started to draw herself, and she made a model of herself in that. So it was a simple project. You know, we tried to make it very interactive and also engaging. Okay, but of course, we also had other opportunity where we work with kids in a bit more complex project that I wanted to just show you guys through a picture that we do it with Singapore Institute of Architects. So those are some of the things that we do at home with kids. So there was this project that we got a chance to do which is Architecture Festival. Okay, are you able to see this? Stressed out at home? Able to see this? So we draw a comic, you know, to tell the kids and parents, okay, you know, we're going to have a design clinic. This design clinic is to help you guys to think about how to make your home a better place. Okay, and we did this with various student cares in Singapore. So these kids, they are all after school, they are all there, but because with coronavirus, no teachers, no external educators were able to go in. So what we did is we did online Zoom with 6 student care. Each student care about 30 kids. So that's 180 kids, right? 180 kids all over Singapore. So what we did is I'm going to just play this very, very short 1-minute video. Can you see this video? Okay, just okay, you can share sound. You can see this, huh? Okay, I'm just going to play this. Just get.
All right. Archifest, architecture saving our world. The Design Clinic. Every year there's an architecture festival organized by Singapore Institute of Architects, where we architects share our passion about why we design, why we change the world through our built environment.
Okay, hi everyone. From a color sketch, we can come out with an interior space that looks very exciting.
Okay, so elevation view, axonometric view, section view.
Do you all see this circular format? Imagine you're a bird and then you look down. This is how the building looks like. Kids, this is the Guggenheim Museum. It's like a spiral. You can walk all the way up, round and round and round up.
Yeah. Wow, this is a city view.
Alright.
Bird eye view.
There we go. Whoa. All yours.
We did an air turbine on the top, and then we also made a hole for sunlight.
Yes, great.
Rooftop jacuzzi. Wow, and I can sit there, watch the sunset, watch the stars.
This is the elevator, this is the power plant.
Wow.
Resort style mansion. This is our multitasking relaxation room. Yeah, this is my room.
Wow, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is just my sharing. Bringing optimism to children at home and student care with whatever resources we have. You know, but most importantly,
this is one of the books I wrote, and I would like to share with you.
Sorry, I forgot to off the commercial. Yeah. So that's how we want to bring optimism to children and to adults, to everyone, to bring the joy of building through Big Lab. Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Joyful as always, Albert.
Yay, thanks, Eva.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
So,
Right, my pleasure.
yeah, it's so interesting to see those pictures from different countries. Now we are making a very big jump to Ecuador, and Bernarda Ycasa will tell about City Children Polyphony Nomadic Amplifier from Quito, Ecuador, and you work in a museum in Quito. Are you there, Bernarda?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, thank you. So can you do this very quick explanation of your wonderful project in Ecuador?
Yes, I'm gonna share my screen. There is it. It is. Can you see it now?
Yes, Albert, could you put off your microphone?
Oh, yes. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Okay. So, is my screen there for everybody?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, good morning, everybody, and good afternoon for some of you. I am Bernarda Ycasa, director of the Architecture Museum in Quito, Ecuador. I am very happy to meet you all for the first time. Thank you, Susan and Rajeva, for this warm meeting in such a kind of cold time. Our museum is Maya Museum of Architectural in Ecuador, is a museum for the collection, research, and promotion of modern architecture in Ecuador, as well as defense for the preservation of the country's built heritage. I am going to present briefly our program, Archiwambras for Children, and the new proposal we have in Corona time for the city. We are also staying at home. We have online education now and part-time presential work. The situation is not good yet here also. Archiwambras del MAE, that's the name of our program for children, is a new project, 2-year project, for the development of sensitivity, creativity, and imagination. We think that architecture as a language allows boys and girls to express their thoughts, emotions, and feelings about their built environment. The word wambra in Quechua, our native language, means boy or girl. Through game, Archiwambras proposes girls and boys to reflect on their environment in order to appropriate it. An open dialogue is about their particular way of thinking and feeling as citizens who inhabit today's spaces. Archiwambras is a project that receives boys and girls in the museum. So now we have Archiwambras in pandemic time, and as you see there, our museum is empty. We cannot receive boys or girls anymore in the museum. So we have been thinking that the pandemic and its effects have proposed a shaking, a very hard shaking of the ethical, aesthetic, poetic, and political foundations of our museum. The current situation of pandemic and confinement deeply challenges us to build transformative actions for the common good. The post-COVID transition context is a challenge for society, and we think is an opportunity for social, economic, and cultural reactivation of our communities. But the main thought is, and what about children? So in Quito, we have created a museum net for life. We call it like that, Museum Net for Life. And from a systemic perspective, and after some views of our territory in the historic center of the city of Quito, where our museum is, the precariousness of lives of those who inhabit the streets, the public space, is evident, especially for children. Expression and listening are new needs. The voice asks for a position and value as an expression again. Children need to say what they need to say about this time and about the spaces they inhabit. There are felt needs that are not recognized because they are not heard. The public space can act as a mediator to say and listen, for the sharing of values and for the free expression of individual and collective meanings in this time. As I said before, schools are closed. Many children on the street. Street is the only space to be for them, for many of them. They do not have access to internet, not to school online. So street is the new space for life. So
Marta Navarez, please pull off your microphone. Please put off your microphone, Marta Navarez. Please put off your microphone. She's disturbing, sorry. Marta Navarez, Please put off your microphone.
Susan, would you like to just mute the participant? I mean, yeah, you can just activate the mute, right?
Can hereby mute everyone?
I think yes. I'll make sure that everybody is muted now, except for the speaker.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the situation in Quito, in Ecuador, I must say. So our proposal for this Corona time is an experiment with a new architecture of stories, the voice of children as a history, the stories of the children as evidence, amplified and released in the public space to build unique and collective stories, horizontal ones that can trigger new consensus, to inhabit from the word now, to return to the street, to inhabit the street by the voice. The word of the children takes place in the public space. The public space becomes polyphonic with this proposal. New urban landscapes are described, soundscapes that amplify the voice of the children, action, participation, resilience, and through an object device called the Nomad Amplifier, which contains and delimits a temporary and transitory territory for the expression for children. This is our Nomad Amplifier. It's a big object. It's an architectural structure also. And it's a territory within the territory of the public space. It welcomes one child at a time and collects his or her voice, his or her expressions, their needs, their demands now, without physical contact with the object, with the activation of a sensor that is up over her or his head. It amplifies what is recorded once the person leaves the Nomad Amplifier. All what he or she has said is recorded. The individual story acquires collective meaning when it is amplified in the street. The recorded audio material will be broadcast in podcasts, such as unedited tablets, through a virtual platform and community radio stations in our city. It will also have a printed edition for children. The children or the child entering the Nomad Amplifier is at the center of the object. And this is very symbolic for us now in the street. And he or she is the center of the object while there. This alternative territory reduces spatial and social inequality. They all have the same possibility and the same right to expression within it. The space of the Nomad Amplifier welcomes children also in wheelchairs or in use of accessories for reduced mobility. The object can function self-mediated. There are written instructions also translated into Braille and with the use of color scales for people with the reduced vision, for children with reduced vision. It can also be handled with a community mediator who facilitates the actions, registers, and collects information on the experiences with the amplifier. The recovery of confidence in the public space will come from the word now through the Nomad Amplifier, an experience that provides meaning and significance, connects, it strengthens the sense of belonging and identity to a community. The recovery of orality and the preservation of the word in a time of silence and fear will allow the construction of a collective memory that keeps testimonies of the experiences of pandemic, but also of the experiences of recovery and resilience of children. This device is designed to adapt to different local contexts. Now you can see the Nomad Amplifier inside our museum with some people there. But now it is in the street, and on December the 3rd, we are going to have the first big pilot experience in one of the main plazas in Quito, in the historic center in Quito. This device is designed to adapt to different local contexts in squares, parks, streets, patios, schools, when schools are open. It is modular and its transportation is simple. It becomes a traveling piece and can have a managed permanence. It is easy replicable. I believe that through this experience, the communities of girls and boys and adolescents can strengthen their social cohesion by feeling included, knowing that they have a space for social and cultural participation, that they have an opportunity to raise their voices and express the new meanings they give to space, streets, parks, home, and life in the context of pandemic and isolation. Let us remember that there are many and many without voice, that there are many and many marginalized and silenced. So we have gone from a lot of small activities through Zoom and by internet platforms. And all of a sudden, one day we went out and we see what was happening in our streets around the museum. And we thought that this is what we have to do. We have to give our children, a voice, and we have to, and we need to listen to their voices to know exactly what we have to do, what is the next step in our museum and for our work. So thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Bernarda.
Thank you so much. It's so interesting with those very, very different ideas, what you can do with the children, with Zoom and with television and with radio and with other media, and your Nomad Amplifier. Interesting. Now we are making a big jump over to Romania, where Mina Sava and her colleague will present De-a-arhitectura challenge in Romania, in Bucharest. Hello, nice
thank
to
you.
meet you.
Thank you very much, Suzanne and Heba, and thank everyone to join here today. It's quite difficult to talk after Bernarda. It's such a beautiful and poetic project. And we hope to see it in a radio podcast, to hear. So it was very inspiring. So we go back to Europe problems, to Europe lockdown. And I try to share my screen just in a minute. How do I do this?
You want me to share the screen, Mina?
No. Okay. I hope I can. And with me is my colleague Magdalina, who actually is taking care of our programs with children in online and Corona times. But first, I think I have to make a very brief description of what we are doing and who we are, because I see many new faces here. So for my old friends, please excuse me to repeat myself. We are a national organization from Romania. We are mostly architects, but also teachers. And we have 8 years of experience in working with children in built environment education. And actually, we spread our activities all over Romania, which is a small part in Europe. And we reached a lot of children because we do our programs in state schools. Our main goal in the beginning and still now is to work with children in state schools and to try to bring built environment education in the curriculum. So we have teachers, we have architects, and we have children involved in this program. And of course, we have also other activities outside schools, but our main focus are the schools. And as many of you might know, we use this experimental and project learning approach. So kids have to explore cities or buildings, they have to analyze and learn about them, they have to build and do hands-on things, and then they have to present. Everything was very nice, but Corona came and the schools were all on online. And even some activities were allowed to be done outside. We were not able to make our programs as we used to do before. So we have to put ourselves some questions. And one of these questions was how to make kids learn by themselves something new, something funny about the built environment. How can they make most of their imagination, and especially to make them have fun at home in the lockdown? Because most of them were like little prisoners in their houses, so they have to use their hands and their eyes and their heads to do something. And we create a series of challenges for kids, but for kids for all the ages from 6 to 18. And we publish these challenges on our website. And as we developed them, we realized actually that our challenges address in a very interesting way to the subjects they have in school. So each challenge can be also a teaching tool for teachers later to be used. And I think I would like to show you one of our challenges, how they were, how a movie of the challenges is, yes. And I will ask Magdalina, who is here.
I have to add one more thing. Mina said that we keep thinking about children's needs, but we also realized that we were missing the kids a lot. So we had to do something because interacting with kids was on our daily basis. So we decided to choose one of our most beloved workshops. It's the first one, Towers with Their Heads in the Clouds. We experiment a little, and the first challenge came to life. The one that you'll see now is the second one.
I'm trying, Magdalena, just to put the video, but you keep talking.
Okay. During all those 8 challenges, we realized that we can have a small recipe for each one of them, as you will see in a second or two. But the most important connection between them, it was the fun that the kids will have while doing this.
Okay, here I am. Sorry for... Okay.
So each challenge starts with some catchy images or with some funny drawings that we try to make or with some interesting information. And after that, we made a list with all the materials that they can use. Just like you said, we try to think only about materials that you can find around your house, because kids were locked inside their apartments, inside their houses. In this case, it was about paper and some drawing instruments, but we also use cardboard, sweets, fruit, their imagination sometimes, everything that you can find around your home. And after seeing the video, the kids have to send us the result of their work. this always involved a short story, because sometimes a drawing or a model cannot tell you the whole process behind the result. So we challenge the kids to tell us a few words about their little house, about their animal chair, their traveling house, I don't know. And we have a slide with the results of our challenges.
Yes. And
even though they were not quite what we expected to receive, we have to admit that the kids surprise us with their ideas and their funny ways of transforming our challenge into reality.
Yes. We asked them to send some challenges asked them to make drawings, make pictures, write a story. Other challenges were just to build a net for birds, or to build a house that flies and finds its own place. And we also have challenges where we ask them to redesign their school or to reimagine their school. And we publish all these challenges on our webpage, and we were surprised that we received a lot of them. And the fact that we do these challenges was to see kids in action, and kids not to lose their contact with architecture. But the work behind this was very big, and we didn't expect that we will invest such a long time to film, to write, to make all the things that they see in 2 minutes.
What you can see here is one of our colleagues' child, who tried to make a small film of himself drawing. And you can see how ingenious he was.
Yes, also kids surprised us that they were very good in working with technology, more than we do. Another project we want to present today is one we actually did before, but we did it hands-on. It was a hands-on project on children who try to redesign their own room. And in the hands-on project, they have to measure their room, make the model, and stay 3 days with architect's team to remake the room. But now we have to see how to do this online, how to make this hands-on online, which was also a challenge for us to do. But we discovered a lot of things that that were very good to use later in working with children in schools. This project was in summer, so we had time to test how the hands-on is working. And I would try to put the movie again, the other movie. And
compared with the
last
workshop, this one online took 3 weeks, I think, 6 sessions, compared with 3 sessions that we were usually organizing in a face-to-face workshop. So the kids had a little bit more time to collect ideas and to experiment. Here's a short preview of our challenge. They were invited to redesign their room, since they were spending most of the time there, and analyze their passions, their needs, and find a concept to redesign everything. For me, I was one of the tutors for this workshop. It was a really big challenge to explain kids things about materials, colors, how to cut cardboard or how to measure something without actually being there. I think one of you also said that it's a little bit frustrating not to be able to be there and touch that model or help those kids. But in the end, with a little bit of help from their parents, I think that the results were pretty awesome.
Yes, you have to tell that the outcome of this was a movie made by the kids. Yes. Actually, this is a movie made by the kids.
And as Mina said before, we were surprised that they are pretty good with filming and making video and everything that is linked to digital stuff.
So this is filmed with their phones, and they were very good at filming and presenting it online. That surprised us a lot. But this make us put one more set of questions. Will the teaching after Corona will happen in the same way? Are we going to use the same tools, or are we going back? I think it would be a mixture of this, and I have some questions that we need to answer.
I think you have to sort of finish your lecture.
Yes, because I will leave these questions here.
Okay.
I just read them because most of the kids in online activities are sent by their parents. So it's good to know what makes them come by themselves in these activities. Most of the activities are written in before, so we expected something and now we have different outcomes. And all these experiences teach us something, but we cannot foresee for now what new ideas they will bring in the future. So I think these questions maybe we will ask everyone later. So thank you very much for joining our presentation.
You just leave us in an O. Thank you. That's really inspiring, and it proves that children have experienced and explored more skills in themselves than we think that they have.
Yes, they have more skills than we think. And we have to take these skills out to see if the education can change for the good. Thank you.
Following you, it will.
Thank you so much. It was really interesting to see your lecture and hear also. Next is a lecture about Zoom workshops with children in Beirut in Lebanon. And it's Aseel Honein who will do the lecture. Welcome, Aseel.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Suzanne, and thank you, Hiba, for this wonderful opportunity. And it's really a great pleasure to be here. Today, I will be talking about architecture for teenagers, especially during this time, this very particular time in history. First, let me introduce myself. I'm a Lebanese architect, and I'm very passionate about architecture. 15 years ago, I graduated, and I'm currently the founder of Architecture in a Box, among other things that I do. I also teach at university. And so what happened is that very passionate architect, graduated like 15 years ago, wanted to change the world. And I live in this part of Lebanon where it is a little bit in the northern side. And as much as Lebanon has so much character, it's really beautiful country. But unfortunately, we do suffer from haphazard urbanization. And I feel like the country grew in a way where it undermines the role of architects, especially female architects. So we don't have the proper planning, infrastructure. We do not produce our own electricity, waste management plan. There's none. So also the idea of being a women architect is not very easy because 90% of the women who graduate and become architects and they register in the order of engineers and architects, they do not practice architecture. So I'm among the 10% of the women who have a voice in the planning or being an activist or working in architecture. And I felt that this representation really affects the placemaking, affects the city, affects how we're translating our needs into the city. So my activism started a while ago, many years when I started Parallel Studio. It means a studio that is parallel to the university students' work. It equipped them with the knowledge they need to create change in the community as architects, because I felt that how we are teaching architecture, there's a gap between the role of the architect and the teaching and the learning. Like for example, in the studio, it's only the student and the professor, but in real life, there's the client, there are suppliers, there are many other engineering activities that we need to collaborate with. And so in this particular activity, it was a community-based project where we would introduce students and architects, young architects and students to the work of architecture and what is it like to work with a client. And so with this process, it was very interesting to tell students not only what to expect in the universities and to be equipped for it, but also what to expect in life if they want to make changes in Lebanon and create meaningful spaces. Also part of our mission was community challenges, empowering women, equipping them with the right tools and resources that they need to negotiate, to communicate better, to create, careers in architecture. But little did I know that I will be, since starting 5 years ago, to actually start doing projects with kids, because working with ladies in the field, it was already too late. Their mindset is already set when they are at the university to have their family, and they felt that it's a commitment. They cannot do both, especially that they're not professionally invited to the conversation of the workplace. So we started working on hands-on career orientation programs for teenage girls to see if they really want to become architects. And if they didn't want to become an architect, it's okay, but do not contribute to the 90% of women who are already architects but not working in the field. And we realized that architecture education is a great tool for students to learn about the cities, their rights to the green areas, to create civic engagement and responsible adults. And it started becoming very popular, and throughout the years, we've been doing hundreds of events and thousands of participants, and they're all asking for more to build and learn about architecture. And here we are talking about architecture in a textbook versus having reality that has different values and different concerns. How do you teach architecture in a place where it really undermines the role of design, and how do you ask children to rethink everything they know around them? But I really believe in children, and I really believe that they were able to understand plans and volumes and 3Ds. They know how to draw technically, I was very impressed because I was teaching at the university, and any kid would automatically start drawing and understanding the concept of space, equivalent to a third-year architecture student. And this is maybe thanks to their gaming, thanks to the generation they belong to, how they think of space. And and then last year, our work was interrupted, and it was way before Corona and COVID-19. It's because of the revolution in Lebanon. So students start missing their school classes, and I felt that it really forced them to grow beyond their years and be more mature and more aware. And we couldn't at all keep collaborating with schools, science fairs, even the malls, and too many participants that we were been doing architecture projects with. And this is where the idea of architecture in a box started, and remotely to start teaching students about architecture. Thanks to this participation of this webinar, I kind of jumped into starting this ahead of time, so I have enough material to share with you. And I want to tell you that it really went well. Students, I felt like they participated in this remote workshop on Zoom, and they had opinions, they had understanding of the space. I was really shocked to hear them talk about the relation of the city and the nature, and versus talking about projects that we not necessarily are familiar with here in Lebanon. And then the workshop started. Well, I have to admit, because I wanted them to start on the right foundation of understanding scale and understanding architecturally in a sound way. And so what I did is that I created these type of kits where it has one basic kit to build a house on a certain scale that I have previously designed. And this way it helps them to understand. And the idea is now they already built it, but we will be, this is me explaining something. And them building it on their own. Well, they were working remotely alone, but then there's these two friends that they joined each other because due to the lack of, because one of them had all the materials they needed, and then the other only had the kit. So they joined forces and they built it together. And I really thought also that this is something that I need to address, or we need to learn how to address during the pandemic, because the values we're teaching were about collaboration, team building, and so also this was a challenge for me, but voila, they found something to bring them together. They were safe, and they built this project on their own. Remotely. So the next step is for them to reflect on it and talk about the spaces they like and they don't like, and how would they like to upgrade this project into becoming theirs totally. I don't know how much time I have, because I'm not familiar with speaking in a very not focused. It's just a general talk to introduce this new, hopefully, brand, Architecture in a Box, which has extensive years of collaborations and experience. And now I would love to reach out to you guys and start having some kind of an international and global collaboration together. Yes, I would like to use some time I have if you have any questions for me in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You used your 10 minutes very effective. So now we are going back to South America, and we will have a lecture from Deborah Laub. Are you there, Deborah?
Yes, I am.
And you are aware of you only have 10 minutes, because we will have a little discussion afterwards before we end this meeting. So you can share the screen and you can tell about Brazil.
Sure, just a second. Okay. So, hello everyone. This is the first time I participate in this meeting. Usually Rodrigo and Beatriz are here. I will be very happy to participate from now on. Are you hearing me? Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, we hear.
So I'm representing a working group within the Institute of Brazilian Architects. We are a multidisciplinary group who have been working with children, youth, and the city. I am also an architect myself, and I'm finishing my PhD on humanizing territory through education, especially in public schools. So I've been doing some work teaching fundamentals of architecture and urbanism in schools and designing and building together a public area, interactive public area that connects the schools and the communities. So just to introduce a little bit of myself. So I will start by showing some data to contextualize our country in this immense world. I'm very happy to hear all these accents and see these people all united into doing something together, which I will be very pleased to participate. Sorry. So women account for 75% of the world's poor. Children under 14 represent 25% of the population in vulnerable territories. And in Brazil, in 2015, of the 10.3 million Brazilian children under 4, 83.6% had a woman as a main responsible of care, mailing between age of 18 and 29 years. In Brazil, 3 in 5 single mothers live under the poverty line. 40% of children under 14 live under the poverty line, and 60% of Black children live in poverty, and among them, 20% in extreme poverty. Vulnerability depends on exposure to the negative effects of climate variability and the capacity to avoid these effects or cope with them. This capacity depends on income, assets, education, and knowledge. And here there is a gender bias. Well, we've been asked as a working group to reflect critically upon the COVID situation and the public schools only in the state of São Paulo, and we will see how big we are in this state. I'm personally from Porto Alegre, it's the capital of the southwest state, but after living 10 years abroad, I've been living in São Paulo, so I am part of this group now. And so this is the manual we produce, and by the end of presentation, I hope we can share with you also this presentation that I'm not going to be able to finish due to the time limit, and also the manual that we've produced. Although it's in Portuguese, I think that you can read quite well our graphics. So this is the technical guide for healthy schools. We are living a challenging and complex time in this year of 2020. The COVID pandemic showed the precarious living conditions that most of the Brazilian population is subjected to. In the urgency of these themes, a fundamental issue emerged from the health of children, young people, and consequently their families and society. So what makes school spaces healthy? As architects, urban planners, and educators, we consider a healthy school that is pleasant and that promotes the well-being of its users, that meets the requirements of environmental comfort with well-ventilated and illuminated spaces and with acoustics quality. School whose external spaces, both within and beyond the walls, can be explored pedagogically and provide contact with nature. Finally, schools that have spaces that contribute to a political pedagogical project based on democratic management with the participation of the school community. We believe that we are at an important time to reassess the condition of the buildings and schools infrastructure. We want the community of architects and technicians engaged in this discussion for better conditions of the teaching spaces. To open the theme for a dialogue, we produced the technical manual for healthy schools and the infographic São Paulo, Schools and the Pandemic, in partnership with APOSP and GES. So in the context of the state of São Paulo, so you know that the São Paulo is a state, and also the capital of the state is São Paulo. So some in Brazil, like Rio and São Paulo, have the same name for state and the capital. The other states don't. So so that you have an idea of our bigness, we are dealing in this manual, what we looked at, we are dealing with 8 million people exposed to the COVID. That means 102 times the Maracanã Stadium that you probably know of in Rio. So when it's full. So we are dealing with 7.6 million students, 343.7 thousand of teachers, and 74.3 thousand of workers in the school community. So we've analyzed the typical size of a classroom, which is 7.2 by 7.2 meters. And this would fit only 20 people in a classroom. So you can see in this graphic, this is the map of the state of São Paulo. 93.4 people, percentage of the schools, of the classrooms have to be re-adequated to the COVID situation. So that means almost, 94% of the classrooms don't fit the number of students that would fit in the COVID situation. So we've analyzed a lot of data. We have a lot of work here. It was very interesting. So I'll show you just a little bit of them. So what we found out in the state public schools, that 11% of the schools don't have a patio, don't have an open space. 79% of the schools don't have a changing room. 13% of the schools don't have a football field. 99% of the schools don't have a nursery. 82% of the schools don't have more than 2 sanitaries, and 48% of the schools don't have disabled sanitary. So this is very, very bad situation we are facing here. Now, we are showing another debate that is going on between a group of health and educational institutes. And I will probably, due to the time, will read only this main manifesto. We have then later, I can send you the file with all these issues that this other group is discussing that we found very important here, but we won't have the time right now. So the manifesto is called Occupy Schools, Protect People, and Rethink Education. The COVID-19 pandemic arrived in Brazil at the beginning of 2020 school year. In the absence of a national coping plan, different measures began to be implemented by state and municipal governments without coordination of the federal government. The official response to the pandemic was generally based on the opening of hospital beds and increased supply of intensive care, organizing a rear guard for clinic treatment of severe cases and reduction of deaths. Thus, the capillarity and territorial coverage of the primary care network of the unified health system that we have in Brazil, the primary health care in Brazil is public, is based on the English system, we are not used in the prevention of the disease through epidemiological surveillance strategies to control viral transmission. In this context of sanitary, economical, political, and social crisis, we mobilize resistant efforts and fight to overcome denialist attitudes towards scientific knowledge. Probably you've been hearing what is happening, what is being said by our president. So this is really our way of discussing it and opening people's minds for scientific evidence. To face the paralyzing and disorganizing dilemmas of education, school, and health, it is imperative to converge energies, join forces, and close ranks with movements, forums, networks, entities, and other collectives in the field of education. So we have a very important and difficult task in our country, and it touches very deeply in how actually can we transform the public schools into healthier places, because it's not only due to the pandemic as such, but they do need to be better places for education. Do I have more time or is it over? Sorry, I didn't count actually.
You have been speaking for 10 minutes, so you can do a small finishing up, summing up, but then it's over.
Okay, so that's fine, because I actually hope that everyone can share their files so we can look at it with more detail, and then we can send you these that will show more strategies and discussions that have been going on here with our group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was really, it's interesting to hear about a country with have big problems with the schooling, and I think we are planning to have a seminar about school building of schools for children and schools, the pedagogic and the architecture, how it can work together. So I think you will have interest in listening to another seminar that we will arrange. So thank you very much, and perhaps you can finish your sharing.
Yes, sorry, I am trying. I think I might have to go out from.
You just click the share screen again.
No, my window disappeared, so I will go out and in from Zoom again. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
So now we can see you. Then we can have a little discussion. We have had some very interesting views from different countries, and I have Eva Strusinska. She left the meeting now, but she reminded me that I should tell all new people that we have a snapshot, an inquiry where we ask all countries to tell about the situation for architecture and children in all different countries. And since we are now a lot of more countries than usually, we have the chance to have so many more answers from many countries from the snapshot. And I have collected all your email addresses, so I will send you the snapshot, and those who have already answers, you know that, and you don't have to care, but all others can fill in the snapshot. And some of the questions are difficult to answer, but I think you can just write no, or this is difficult or irrelevant in our country. But when we look at all the countries beside each other, I think it would give a very interesting view of the situation in the world.
So we had those 8 presentations that were very effective, very inspirational. Some of you had showed us how to combine the physical with the virtual. Some of you provided us with innovative solutions, either working at home with the family or on Zoom. Collaboration between architects and the family, architects and teachers working in public spaces also was shown in different experiences of yours, working with the community despite the circumstances in countries where the lockdown is a little lighter. They're very interesting, very optimistic, very joyful. And I believe that we can exchange those experiences, and every country will find what is best according to the circumstances. We might spend some more time during the new wave of the corona. And this webinar has enlightened us with numerous expertise of yours. So thank you for that. We're looking forward to see the Nomad Amplifier working with the community. We are all willing through our mini research to respond to raise some questions or comments. We have two ways. We either write it down in the chat, or please raise your hand so that we can follow an order. We see now two, Aseel, Miranda, and Hannes raising hands, and we can also raise hands yes. Who else? Let's write down. Aseel, Hannes, Albert. Also in the participants list, you can raise a hand. There is this option. Deborah, Mina, Catherine, Maggie. Okay. Let's start with the first hand raised. Aseel, Miranda. Yeah. Did anyone? Yes, there are two more participants raising hands. Mina, okay, and Catherine, okay. Written down. Okay. Please unmute Miranda and go ahead with your question or comment.
Hi, everyone. What's it's all about again? We just raised our hand. So I'm sorry.
If you have a comment or a question or a contribution to the discussion.
No, we just thank you for the presentation. We are, some of us actually from Sweden. We are students of child culture design. So it was a nice, very nice input for us, because we are also in our project in the school. It's all about conflict and how to design approach to take care of this problem. So just that's our comment from now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Then goes Hannes.
Yes. Thank you again for all these wonderful presentations. I followed all of them, and as Deborah said, there's a lot of more information and background, and I would like to share this experience with more people. That's why I ask you all, is it possible to send your contributions? I have seen it's always recording, but is it possible to send it as PDF? in the group and for the purpose to share it more? This was my question. Thank you again for all these interesting contributions.
Thank you, Hannes. Thank you, Hannes. And we will raise this question to everyone if you can contribute with your presentation as PDF for the maximum benefit to everyone, so that it is shared and rotated and disseminated. Albert, please go ahead.
Oh no, just okay. My question is just, I mean, so far the presentation has been very exciting. Mostly all the projects or in the country. So I'm just wondering, like in Europe or other parts of the Western society, do you all have any like inter-country like COVID competition, or like just like Mina, when you're sharing about in Romania, you guys doing that architecture competition among kids? So I was just wondering, like, do you guys have that kind of like interstate, intercity? Since things are online, do you find things more easier to spread, or you find that we're more localized? It's because the situation is actually very interesting. It's the inverse. Although we're all stuck at home, but because of Zoom, somehow we're more international. But do you agree with that? I don't know, just a question.
Mina, would you like to respond?
Yes. Actually, we designed it as a competition in the beginning, and then we gave up the competition idea because we cannot analyze the proposals. So we realized that we have to encourage them to participate and to be present in a wide gallery. On the internet, you can find the gallery on our Facebook page. And I don't know, it's a question. Some kids like competition, some doesn't. But as you said, this Corona time also gave us the opportunity to spread all the things very much more than before. So our challenges are in Romanian now, but we are translating them in English, so they are open to anyone. We are surprised that we received challenges from kids living abroad with their parents, Romanian kids, but they don't speak Romanian anymore. So it was a good connection tool.
I'd like to say a comment. I think a very good thing is when 2 countries or 3 countries do something together. You have a class in one country and a class in another country, and our network now, I think, gives the possibility to have contacts. You could ask if someone in Moscow or anywhere would like to do a school class work parallel. I think that's a way many people have done before, and I think that's easier than having a big competition, and you can do very nice cooperation within 2 countries. And I think you in BPLAB, you have been doing a lot together with Archi, the Finnish organization, and I think that's the best way to go.
I remember also experiment between Spain and Russia.
Yeah.
Christina and Nona, and it was several years ago, like 5-6 years ago, and it was very successful. Do you remember that, Carolina?
Yeah. I work with Christina from Mallorca, Spain. I was from very interesting experience, exchange of experience. We work together with two schools or children of school. A little, and we was the project's name that was Desde el Sillón. I don't know in English, Desde el Sillón, from the, I don't know what's the similarity in Spanish, but it's the name Desde el Sillón, and we were together from 6 months, more or less. We studied our cities, our different cities. Our city is lineal city, and Mallorca is a round city. And on is the children exchange more experience, and they are friends in this time too. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have seen work. Maybe if we dig deeper, we will find examples, clues and evidences from your work with Christina and from Christina's work with Rasha or something like that. Next to Albert was Deborah. Thank you, Albert. Deborah, you had a question or a comment?
Well, I was just wondering, you know, I always have this way of seeing things because I guess because I lived in very wealthy countries as well. I lived in England, and not so wealthy, but very well organized country. I lived in New Zealand for 6 years as well. Coming back from Brazil, I see so much differences, of course, but especially how to work with these communities that don't have, sometimes in this time, it was very clear, not even access to internet. They couldn't participate in all these other activities that had been happening. And although we are a group of people who do lots of different activities, and I especially and other people do lots of actions in schools and with people who have great needs, but we had faced a huge challenge, especially in communicating with these very poor communities. And I wonder who or if any of your countries had faced similar challenge and how you had dealt with it.
Which country would like to respond? Because I have a response. Who would like to reply to Deborah?
Okay, I can speak for our project in this Romani community in Bulgaria, in Plovdiv. This is still really a big problem for us, how to be connected with the children, because we all the time when it was allowed, we were there. Usually our workshops are every week. Every week we go there for. We have 2 workshops on Tuesday and Thursday with teachers, and we go there in the community. We work directly between the houses with the children. So just March and April, it was not able, and now from today, it's not able to the end of December. So we tried the previous month when we understand that, okay, maybe it will happen during the winter. We tried to collect phone numbers and to see who in the community has a smartphone, because it's not easy, maybe 1 or 2, because people there, they gather, they are not isolated. It's usually one family, they have many children there. So now we want to try to connect with some of them and just to try to distribute, to give them some materials for the workshops and to give tasks in a distance, and to work with them in such way, just to have these phone calls or maybe online meetings from time to time, also to support them with materials, because they are very poor. They don't have a lot of things there, even some basic things, scissors or pencils or something like this. So we will try this way and we will see how it will go. But it's really difficult. I know what, and these children are really isolated, and now they cannot continue their studying at school because it's the same problem. They have to stop school now because they cannot have lessons.
Thank you, Maggie, for the response. And now it's Mina's question.
First, I want to say something more to the question Albert raised before. I think we can make now a common database with all workshops or initiatives that are in the world on built environment education. I think it will be a very helpful tool for everyone. So it's a project that we can go on for the next years.
Yes.
And this is a lot of we also have these projects before in Golden Queues, but I think we have more now. And one question is for Aseel, because I didn't get well. Aseel, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Your project was for girls in high school to understand architecture and try to become architects, or I get it wrong? Or
yes,
yes,
it began like this. Yes.
And what was the biggest challenge you were facing with these girls? It was a challenge of mentality or of lack of resources, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, digging into the challenges, we realized it was very complicated because it's a combination of too many factors. So I was teaching at the university and I thought, yay, girls don't have enough opportunities. I can provide them parallel studio activities. And they weren't interested. So, and this is where it started with the teenagers. Before they entered the architecture school, it was very important to have a proper career orientation. And I think this goes to all fields and it goes to all genders. I mean, too many children want to be mechanical engineers because that's what their parents are, or engineers because it's prestigious in general. Or I even saw this, that is also valid in, for example, the States when I was there. People would wish the best careers on their children and orient them to where they're not necessarily following what they're really passionate about. So it started as awareness for girls, and but it was like 100% success because some of them said, yes, this is what we want, and we're ready to fight and be challenged by all the, you know, like the hindrances that we have to pull it off. And I mean, I was in a way their role model to be like me. So, so of course, I wish that they would be even, you know, way more successful given all the resources that they have. But at least I'm very happy working so much in my field. I enjoy it. I'm recently been part of the Top Architects Middle East version 5 books. So I'm being celebrated every day given all the circumstances. So what happened is that then we realized the girls who are saying no, now that we understand what it takes to be an architect, we don't want it. We're very happy with that because they're not contributing to the 90% of women who have architecture degrees and do not practice. I would like to say here that in Egypt, by ILO, the same organization that we have the statistics from, 80% of the engineers and architects are leaders, the female in Egypt, in their field. They are even maybe providers of the family. And so what I'm trying to say here is that we think that there are a lot of underrepresentation when it comes to architecture and women, especially in my country. So what happened, the surprise that happened is that some of them weren't really interested in architecture. Maybe the hands-on career orientation workshop was imposed on them, but they enjoyed it and they told their parents about it and their friends about it. And we started realizing the values of it, now we're creating content for school teachers to teach English using these kids, to teach, I mean, we participated in science fairs where we partnered with engineering partners who do renewable energy and talk about smart cities and applications. So we realized that architecture schooling and education is really a great tool for development. And I mean, it started for girls, you are right, but now it's really for everyone. And now we're starting even to do these workshops for starting 8 years old and 9 years old, not just for teenagers. We started doing it for children as well. Did I answer you, Mina?
Yes, thank you, Aseel. I had one more question for Albert, but I think he is gone, so I'm right. I was wondering how he restructured his fundraising. his business. But
have to ask.
I will put it on email because he jumped over very quickly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now it's Catherine. Catherine, are you here?
Yes, thank you. First of all, greetings from Estonia. I'm the new member of this wonderful community, and I'm very happy to be
happy to have you.
And it was really great to hear all these different stories, these experiences that I find very valuable. And I also was reassured that we are on the right track doing similar things here with children and young people at our architecture school for the school age from 7 to 19. And I wonder, it wasn't so much discussed, and of course I understand the situation is different in different countries. Some countries are completely locked down, but those who are more open, scientists say that outdoors the virus spreads much less from people to people. So we could think more about outdoor learning programs, also teaching architecture. And we have tried it here, but of course, as you see, it's already 1 hour before it got dark here, and after school lessons, and today it was snowing as well, so it's around 0 degrees here in the Nordic area. But even here we tried to do outside lessons, and I just wanted to raise the discussion. It would be much easier to do in warmer countries. So let's think together.
Yeah, I believe yes, Yani, with the case with me and with the case with Maggie and with the case with the Latin Americas, it's yes, I think. Preliminary response is yes. And Deborah wants to comment on Catherine.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
before
please.
we move to Maggie. Yeah.
I went through very quickly our manual, but the flag that we actually had taken in our manual, amongst other ideas, was the city as a classroom, especially the opportunity that we had also the infectologist involved in our team. That was very helpful, and especially, I mean, the territory as an educator. So is the best opportunity of something that we believe in, and a problem that has been raised with the COVID. Now we joined these two opportunities. So we've talked quite a lot in our manual, although we mentioned that would need an extra manual to develop that idea. But a part of the idea, we give tips on how the teachers can do that. How can they engage the students, the community in the schools, what kind of activities they can do externally, and so on. So that was very important for us. Thank you.
Sounds very good. Yeah, I'm thinking it's very important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now it's Maggie's question. Magdalena?
Yes, no, it was just a comment, but it's the same with Mina. I think that it's really good to have on our website, to have
many, yeah.
Yes, and if somebody from the group, or if somebody has lessons, adapted workshops, adapted in English, which are, or it's not necessary to be understandable only from video or from something like this. It's good to share, and it will be really easier, because it's difficult to look at all pages and to see what happened, and this will be really easy to follow.
Yeah, I think we should create something and put this in our agenda for the coming few years. Yeah. Thank you, Maggie. And now it's Christina. You found how to raise your hand, huh?
Yes, I did. Just to comment on, hello everyone, hello the new ones. I'm from Budapest. So about the city as a learning territory and about outside activities, I will send around a call for an English-speaking small conference held in Monday, and I will send around the information. This is the biggest Hungarian bee organization who is concentrating on the city and making projects in the city, who will organize that. And they kindly called my attention to this conference and asked me to invite everyone. Maybe there will be interesting projects. They are doing a lot in the city, and the outdoor classroom idea is very much linked to their activity. So maybe there are some examples. I will send that around. And thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you, Christina. If you want to share it now, you can share it on the chat, because the chat is also recorded, and also we can disseminate it through the mail.
Okay.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you. This was the end of the Q&A session, and the time also has passed 5. It's 10 minutes past 5, so we are almost on time, exceeded only 10 minutes. So, Susan, what do we do now?
I think the next meeting we have decided should be in February, and since we have the last Friday in the month for our meeting, and the same clock time as usual because of the world situation with clocks, so it should be the 26th of February. That's a Friday, and we will arrange a new meeting, and at that meeting we will do some planning for the jury in April of the Golden Cubes Awards. And as Heba and I made we liked it very much ourselves. We did the presentation of this work group and a presentation of the Golden Cubes Awards 2017. So you can have an overview of very interesting projects. The prize winners, we presented them. So I think next meeting will be very much about Golden Cubes Awards, and we will also, I think, plan a date and a time for a meeting where we discuss building of schools and the children participation in the school building, because as I have done some evaluation of school children in school buildings. So I think we can have a very interesting, and I know Christina in Budapest is doing a PhD about schools. So we have some interesting lectures that we can have. So that is very much the near future for our work program, and it's very inspiring and a lot of work to do this. But it's also easier to arrange a meeting like this than to do it in some country somewhere in the world, and so many more can participate from so many more countries, and it doesn't cost. I mean, some have to travel all around the world to come to our meetings. So we are, even though we can't meet, we can still see more of each other and exchange experience, and I think that's wonderful.
So everyone, yes, it was a wonderful experience and a wonderful day, and personally I'm enriched with many examples, and we also have a lot of homework to do for our work program, in which we need the engagement of everyone who is interested, and we need your collaboration indeed for the betterment of the outcome of this program. So everyone, do you have anything to say before we say love you and leave you?
I would take a glass of your health for the next time. Take care of you and hope to see you also personally, sometime.
Yeah.
It was so good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay, everyone. Kisses,
Thank you.
virtual
Bye.
kisses and hugs, everyone. Thank you. Please be connected. Please share your expertise, your experiences, your reflections. If you have something that is common and you want to share with us, you want us to post it on our website or on our Facebook page, please keep it always connected and communicated. When we receive the video from the Zoom, we will also post it with a short report of today. Thank you, everyone. Susan?
Be pura vida.
Pura
Thank
vida.
you.
Pura vida.
Thank you
Pura
very
vida. Ciao.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.